What show?
The Whitey Show, the Whitey Show.
Whitey Show.
I'm the review who loves to say son of a bitch. The same review who hates most Nintendo shit. I'm the one who calls games what they are. I even own the 360 and hate Gears of War. Guy who spends his money on games, fucking cards. Just a funny guy who became a YouTube star.
The story starts off with two different things. First is the war that's happening. The queen was killed, and this guy took over the throne, and then he put the daughter, the princess, into prison, and after a while she escaped with another person, and thus joins forces with the South. And then the South and the North are basically fighting throughout this war. We also go to Judo, who's the main character who you play as mostly through the game, is this young boy who has amnesia. I know, so original. And he's living on a nice quiet island with his somewhat like sister, and they live their everyday life until the princess shows up, and then the war brings it to his home, and then a whole mess of shit happens, and basically you join the south side and we have to mess up the north side. And the story evolves, and it basically becomes a nice little Civil War story, and it works out pretty well for the most part because the voice acting doesn't completely suck. My friends, this is not Star Ocean. We actually have decent voice actors in a Japanese RPG. They're mostly from various different animes, and the main story isn't bad at all. Plus you have the sub-stories such as the little love story going on from various different characters. You also have searching for a father, and some really badass cutscenes. So overall, I have to say I had no problem with the story and enjoyed it throughout the game with all the nice little twists and turns. The graphics for the most part are pretty well done. I like that they give a hint of a kind of like cel shaded going on, but it actually isn't too much cel shade, so it isn't like Dragon Ball Z or Zelda Wind Waker. Now the designs for the most part are pretty enjoyable. They are done by Korean artists, so it is different from Japanese. You have a lot of girls with tits that are just unnaturally huge, but if you can get over that or even enjoy that, up to you. Overall, I say the design is fine. The special effects look great, especially for finishers, and the environment's all nicely detailed. Of course, there's pop-ups because it's on the Unreal Engine, but overall, it works out pretty well, and the specials, big boobs, and cool design all work out for the game. Surprisingly, the gameplay is the strongest part of this game in my opinion, which is a surprise to me only because usually it's the weakest part where the story is the strongest part. So let's get into the gameplay. It plays a lot like, if you have to compare, I know all you have to, it plays a lot like Final Fantasy 12. You have an open world, you fight what you see, you don't go into a battle screen here, or whatever the battle screen sounds like, and go into a whole new universe, use these specials, and come back and see the field of fucking monsters. No, what you see on the field is what you fight. If you've seen Final Fantasy 12, it's the same idea. You're always around with 3 party members, and you'll obtain different moves while you level up your characters and use them to your benefit. My favorite thing about the game is that each character has 2 different set of moves completely. Why? Because each weapon they use will change that. Take, for example, Judo has a single-handed sword or two-handed sword, so his move set completely changes. Two-handed sword makes his stamina go a lot quicker, but at the same time it does a lot more damage, where the single hand does not nearly as much damage but lets the stamina last longer. Also, their specials are completely different, and this will make gameplay change completely. Depending on what weapon you use will make the character either a healer or a fighter, a tank or a warrior, so on. Thus, making leveling up your character not just a simple task of maxing out one set of moves, but maxing out both sets of moves to use them to your advantage for fighting different monsters. Also in this game, how the battle system works is basically you click AAA and X for your specials, or B to counter. Well, that's pretty cool and pretty simple, and it looks really good. You also have this thing called chain attacks. When you go into overdrive mode, which means you use your stamina too much, and then you click a special and you go into overdrive mode, if you switch your character right after you use your special, you will chain an attack. What will that do? Well, we'll upgrade your attack damage for that character you just switched to, Plus, you'll make the other character rest while you attack the monster, thus taking off the aggro off that character. So instead of just sitting there waiting for your character to regenerate his stamina, you'll use all 3 characters to your advantage during a battle. This is a very cool feature. It makes the attack system work really well, and certain monsters won't take shit damage unless you keep chaining attacks over and over again. So you have to be wise in battle. And overall, it just works really well, really fun to use. The specials are easy to use, not overcomplicated bullshit system. So in the end, the gameplay is a blast. And chaining attacks brings a new strategy to RPGs in my opinion. The only thing I have to say bad about the combat is when you go into battle mode, you move at a snail's pace. I feel that's like a kind of weak point to the battle system, and that you move too slow for battle, but I guess it balances out. Everything else from leveling up your different weapons to getting new skills to chaining combos just works so well. The story mode will take you anywhere from, I don't know, 30 hours to 50 hours, mattering if you do the side quests, possibly even more. Also, I would like to mention that the side quests in this game are actually side quests. Similar to an MMO, you will talk to random NPCs, they will give you missions, you will get experience and rewards for those items, and it really works out. Instead of just grinding for like 15 minutes to level up, you can grind for 5 minutes, go back to the guy, do the mission, get your experience, and you level up that much quicker. It works to balance out the level up system and make it a quicker game. And achievements for the most part are easy to obtain. As long as you level up your character and maintain the steady speed rate, you'll get most of the achievements throughout the story. So in the end, I would have to say I really enjoyed this Japanese RPG. It was one of the better ones I played in this generation. It's almost up to par with Lost Odyssey. I would only say it's a little behind because the story isn't as mature or as dark as Lost Odyssey, but it does give you some emotion of anger, sadness, and want to kill some people in the end of the game. And that's because the voice acting doesn't completely suck. Let's thank the Japanese gods. No, seriously, it doesn't suck in this game, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. If you can get through Star Ocean, you will actually love this story in this game. Going over this real fast, the only negative things I have to say is the story does have some cliche moments. The battle system for the most part works out fine, though I will say that the AI of your teammates isn't the greatest at times, and sometimes they'll just stand there while you're fighting, and you do move slow as hell in battle. However, to put on the good sides of this game, the voice acting isn't terrible, and it makes the story at least enjoyable for that. The battle system is unique and fun, especially chaining attacks and leveling up both of your weapon skills. And it's a long RPG, so you can jump into it and have fun for a week or two, or even more if you have other things to do. Plus, if you're a guy, you're definitely going to like the art design. No, I'm kidding. Though the tits are huge in this game. Seriously, in the end, the game is a fun Japanese RPG, and if you're looking for one on the Xbox 360, definitely pick this up if you're into Japanese RPGs.
Piece of cake.